Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let us continue with Surah Aal-Imraan bihawlillahi wa quwwatih, and we are on ayah number 119. قال الله تبارك وتعالى ها أنتم أولئك تحبونهم ولا يحبونكم وتؤمنون بالكتاب كله وإذا لقوكم قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا عضوا عليكم الأنامل من الغيظ قل موتوا بغيظكم إن الله عليم بذات الصدور. Remember, in the previous ayah, Allah Jalla wa Ala advised the Muslimin not to take the kuffar as their bitana, as their close allies whom they reveal secrets to, because there were some Muslims who were doing this. And the justification was given that they will not fail to corrupt you, they desire to put you in difficulty, hatred has appeared from their mouths, and what their breasts conceal is yet worse. And that these ayat have been made plain for people if you do indeed understand. So continuing on from this, Allah Jalla wa Ala tells us, Ha antum. The ha does not really have a meaning in and of itself, it's just to grab your attention. Something like alas or lo. A word to grab your attention. He says, Antum, you are, ulai, the ones. You could say ha'ulai or you could say ulai. Again, the ha is just for tanbih, just to grab your attention. So he says, you are the ones who love them. Them meaning the kuffar, referring to the munafiqeen, as we are about to discover. But they do not love you, and you have iman in all of the book. Now the word kitab is a singular, but what is intended is all of the scriptures sent down by Allah Jalla wa Ala. He says when they meet you, the verb is laqiya yalqa, to meet. When they meet you, they say, we believe, meaning we believe in the last prophet and in the Quran and in al-Islam and so on. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا, from the verb khala yakhlu, which means to be empty, but it can also mean to be alone or in privacy with someone. So khulwa means in privacy with someone. So when they are in privacy with themselves, they addu, from adda ya'uddu, means to bite. Alaykum, against you, meaning because of you, they bite their anamil, plural of unmula, which are fingertips. Now this expression of biting your fingertips means when you are extremely angry, in rage, and you are unable to do anything about it. For example, if somebody wrongs you, and you are in rage, and you are able to take revenge and punish that person, then you may be angry and in rage, but you're not quote-unquote biting your fingertips in rage. As opposed to if somebody wrongs you, and you are angry and in rage, and you are unable to take revenge, then we do say you're biting your fingertips in rage. So this is an expression. It does not mean to say that when these munafiqun are all together in privacy, each one of them is physically biting his fingertips. Allah Jalla wa Ala instructs us, tell them, mutu, meaning die, bighaydikum, due to your rage, meaning because of your rage. So you can tell them this to their face. Indeed, Allah knows the that is sudur. Now that, meaning sahiba, companion, the companion of the breasts, meaning to say your intentions, because that's where your intentions are, in the heart, which is in the breasts. So Allah knows who harbors the righteous intention and who harbors the nefarious intentions. Moving on to ayah number 120, he says, In tamsaskum hasanatun tasukhum wa in tusibakum sayyi'atun yafrahu biha wa in tasbiru wa tattaqu la يضركم كيدهم شيئا إن الله بما يعملون محيط. The verb massa yamassu means to touch. So if hasana, if good things touch you, meaning if good befalls you, so that would be good fortune or success. تسؤهم ساء يسوء سوءا. This is the verb. It means to grieve someone or to hurt someone or to trouble someone. So it means it troubles them, meaning the munafiqeen. And then he says, if sayyi'ah, which means bad things, tusibkum from asaba, yusibu isabatan, to afflict someone. If something bad afflicts you, so this would be misfortune, something like a loss in wealth or losing a battle and so on. Yafrahu biha, from the verb fariha yafrahu farahan, to be joyous. They are joyous at your loss. Now let's just pause here and reflect. There are a couple of points that need to be made. Firstly, when he talks about goodness befalling you, he uses the verb massa. And when he talks about evil befalling you, he uses the verb asaba. He uses different words. There is a reason for this. Now just understand, normally we would expect the verb asaba to be used for both good and bad, because both good and bad can befall you, and asaba means to afflict someone. So this could be in a good way or a bad way. So when he talks about the evil befalling you, he uses the word isaba, which is to be expected, so there's not much to be explained there. However, what does need explanation is the massa verb being used when goodness touches you. We would expect isaba to be used, but he uses the word massa. Why is that? Well, massa means to touch. It is lighter than isaba. Isaba is more general. It could apply to something small or something large. A thorn pricking you, or an ocean wave completely overcoming you and drowning you. Isaba is general, whereas massa is for light things. If an ocean wave completely overcomes you, you do not say that the ocean wave touched you. If you take one finger out and touch anything, that's a touch. It's a slight thing. So he's saying here, even the slightest goodness which just touches you, maybe just barely scrapes you, it would be enough to trouble the munafiqeen. So this teaches you the level of hatred and the level of hasad or envy that these munafiqun harbor against you. The second point to note from this section of the ayah is that the ulama use essentially this ayah to define who your friend is. They say your friend is the one who your happiness is his happiness and your sadness is his sadness. And your enemy is the one who your happiness is his sadness and your sadness is his happiness. This is who your friend and who your enemy is, and they take their evidence from this ayah right here. Then the ayah goes on. If you tasbiru, have sabr, which means habs, to hold yourself back, as in to hold yourself back from doing anything which Allah Jalla wa Ala is displeased with, from statements or actions or beliefs. وَتَتَّقُوا, and have taqwa. We've spoken about this before. لَا يَضُرُّكُمْ, their kaid, their plotting will not harm you. Shay'a, in aught, meaning not in the least bit will it harm you. And Allah is muhit, which means surrounding all that they do, meaning all that the kuffar are doing, Allah surrounds it. This means that He knows everything that they're doing, and their plots cannot be effective unless He allows it. They may have all the power in the world, and still their plot will not be effective unless Allah gives it the green light. So it's all under His knowledge and under His control. This is what it means when He says that He surrounds them or surrounds their plots. Also, we have a grammar point. He says, لا يضركم كيدهم. لا يضركم is a jawab al-shart. We do not expect it to be marfu' in this way. We would expect it to be لم يضركم. So why is it لا يضركم? Well, there are some explanations. One explanation which makes sense is that it was originally meant to be فلا يضركم, because the fa does come in the jawab al-shart. So فلا يضركم would make sense. Okay, so where's the fa? They say it is mahdhufa. So you're allowed to say it without the fa. And this is an opinion of some grammarians. There is another opinion which is held by the famous grammarian Sibawayh. He says that the structure is reversed. Originally it was meant to be لا يضركم كيدهم شيئا إن تصبروا وتتقوا. Now that would make sense if it was written like this, but he says that it is permissible to reverse the order so that it would read like how the ayah reads right now. So reflecting on these two ayatan, firstly we take that Allah is a sincere advisor to us. He's telling us that these munafiqun, they do not love us, but yet you love them. This does not make sense. This is not in your interest. See how Allah Jalla wa Ala guides us to that which is in our interest. We also take that the Muslim is consistent in his beliefs, in that he believes in all the books as opposed to the Yahud and Nasara. So this consistency of Islam sets it apart from the rest. We find here that Allah, in His knowledge of all things, lets us know the secrets of the kuffar, how they are in complete rage against the Muslimin. So again, this is all giving us advice. And we also take that the Muslim needs to be strong and stand firm on his deen, such that he would even tell the kuffar and the enemies to die out of your rage. So just look at how there is no compromise. We also know that Allah Jalla wa Ala has full knowledge of our secrets, all the intentions that we harbor in our hearts. We also learn, as mentioned before, essentially the definition of who a friend is and who an enemy is. And that an enemy, even though he may appear to be friendly, it's his heart which matters. If his heart is full of enmity, then he is your enemy, even if he appears to be friendly. So the point is, do not let your guard down. Allah Jalla wa Ala teaches us how to deal with their enmity and their plots and plans and even their hasad against us. And this is simply with two words, sabr and taqwa. So if we implement these two properly, then all their plots and plans and their conspiracies and their envy will not be able to harm us. Ayah number 121. وَإِذْ غَدَوْتَ مِنْ أَهْلِكَ تُبَوِّئُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ مَقَاعِدَ لِلْقِتَالِ وَاللَّهُ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. In this ayah, Allah Jalla wa Ala begins to speak about the battle of Uhud. And the reason why He does that, after speaking about not taking the kuffar as your close advisors because they will corrupt you, is that when the Muslimun lost the battle of Uhud and they became grieved, this grieving of theirs was because the munafiqun were telling them, oh, if only you did this, if only you did that. So you see, the munafiqun are not going to bring any goodness to the table. That's why it makes sense you do not take them as your retinue. Now also it should be mentioned that at this point the Mufassirun talk in detail about the Battle of Uhud, how it happened, why it happened, and the details of it. We are going to steer clear of that because we're trying to give a condensed tafsir, but we would recommend the listener, akramakallah, to read the books of tafasir where you would find the details there. He says وَإِذْ meaning when, غَدَوْتَ meaning to go out in the morning, and it's specifically in the morning. So we are talking early hours of the morning. The morning, of course, starts at the true dawn. So it would have been maybe after Salat al-Fajr or there or thereabouts. From your Ahl, This refers to the house of Aisha radiallahu anha. Tubawwi'u, this verb bawwa'a, yubawwi'u, tabwi'an, means to settle someone somewhere. Maqa'id, plural of maq'ad, means a place of sitting. So it basically means their battle posts, the place where they will be stationed. So he's going to settle the mu'mineen, or if you like, post the mu'mineen at their battle stations. This is for the battle of Uhud, of course. للقتال, for the fight. And Allah is the Sami'un Alim. That is clear enough. So reflecting on this ayah, we take something about the military strategy. The leader needs to position his soldiers in appropriate places, because this makes a difference. If you position them in the wrong places, you're likely to lose the war. So you need to place your soldiers strategically, because you need the strategic advantage. Perhaps somewhere where you can ambush them and have the element of surprise, that type of thing. So you're going to post your archers, or snipers these days, in elevated places. There's no point in posting the snipers, for example, in a low-level place. That would not be effective. So we are talking about military strategy, and this is part of the deen. Strategies can differ from time to time, place to place, but the sunnah is to use the best military strategy that you have at your disposal, even if it be something that the Prophet himself did not do, because these matters are flexible. They are not cast in stone. We notice how he says that he stationed the mu'mineen, despite the fact that the munafiqun also marched out, but they returned, because of course they are cowards. So ultimately they did not end up fighting. We also take the two names of Allah, the hearing and the knowledgeable, along with their attributes which we affirm to Allah Jalla wa Ala in a way which befits His divine essence. هذا والله أعلم.